Hello,
Hello, Pam. How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Good. Good to meet you.
Fix the volume here.
Did I meet you at my last webinar, or this is the first time that you join?
Oh, actually, I need to fix the volume because I can barely hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me just fine?
yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, as you come in. Hi, Brenda.
Hello.
Good to meet you. How are you?
Nice to meet you. I'm doing well. How are you?
Very good as well. Welcome. Nice to have you.
Thank you.
And if you want to put on the chat where you are coming from and anything else you would like to share with everybody, but just would love to know where are you guys coming from here today. Hi, Beverly. Hi, Devon. Good to see you, everybody. It's a pretty on-hands kind of webinar, so I would recommend if you can leave your camera on, that would be amazing because we are going to be um, experiencing, right, more than anything. So that would be good if we can stay connected that way. From Canada, wonderful. Welcome from Canada. I love that. Yes, Devon, great. Good to have you. I'm here based in San Diego, but I was just traveling to New York and it was fun to be back where I used to live before, which is great. Washington State, great. Toronto as well, awesome. Canadians, I love Canadians. Very good. Well, great to have you all. Thank you for joining us today. I want to welcome to what I call our global freedom circle. And it's about creating joy and wellness. And have you guys, this is your first time that you come to my circle? I think
Yeah.
so. I
Mhm.
have before. Yeah. Have you been here before? Let me know. But I think I haven't seen you before. Devon, yes, maybe once before. Wonderful. So I would like to start first to ask you why are you here? And also what does freedom mean to you? And I would love to just get some shares before we actually go into anything else, just to see where you're all thinking about this and what are your expectations. So welcome if you're just joining us. So if you would like to say something, you can start there and just tell me what made you come here today and what are you expecting from our time together. Yeah, I see your camera too, Beverly, which is good. You are on. We can see you. You can put it in the chat or you can unmute yourself and simply talk. It's a small group, so we're just gonna let it open for now. Take a break, caught your attention. Okay, great. So that's what we are doing. We're gonna take a little break during your day, right? And yeah, and what is freedom to you? As this is a freedom circle, what are you thinking when you think of freedom? What are you looking for to feel more, to experience more when it comes down to freedom? If there's anything that comes to mind. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll share a little bit of what I feel freedom is, right? Freedom is feeling comfortable in any space that you go. Somebody say, expressing myself unapologetically. Exactly. That's what I was just saying, right? Like being yourself no matter what and being comfortable with that, being able to choose how I use my energy. That's beautiful as well. Perfect. Yeah. And from my experience, there's different ways to actually be able to do that. But they are all very connected. And I think it's a body, mind, and a spiritual mix that help us to stay in that place where everything feels very comfortable. And that's what we are going to do today. And before we get there, actually, I just want to share with you guys a little bit of, who I am, what it's a little bit my story and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then tell you what I have experienced, what I have seen in myself and also in the work that I do with clients that have been the major changes that makes them be more free in their lives, more experience more joy, experience more wellness, my background is more in the health and wellness field. I studied nursing back in Spain, which is my country of origin. That's where my accent is from, if you haven't noticed yet, right? And as I was studying nursing, I was very frustrated with the conventional approach of conventional medicine. And I decided to explore other ways to help myself and also help people with their health and wellness. And when I arrived in New York City in my early 20s, I discovered a method of exercise that it was moving very slowly with intense weights, but without actually going into a lot of repetitions, but just slow and mindful movements that will actually make your muscles work more intensely. And it was a life changer for me because I realized at the time that I was losing weight, gaining muscle in a very strong and fast way, but also it brought a connection to my body that I've never experienced before. And it was a way to actually be able to help myself with health and again, start to work with people and help them be healthier just by connecting with their bodies, as opposed to, like I was studying in Spain, nursing and wanted to be in a different way, right? So that was my first body secret. And I want to give you a little experience of that if you guys are all ready for it. And it's about how much connection can you experience with your own body and how much understanding of it do you have even at this moment in time, right? And I would love for you to just let me know after what is your experience of that. In my case, it was, as I was explaining before, as I started connecting more with my body, getting stronger, there was this sense of wholeness and power. It was different that I have experienced before when I was just maybe moving or doing, but I was not very conscious and very mindful of what that was doing in my physical body. So are you guys game for a little bit of a practice? Okay. So I invite you to close your eyes and we're gonna be taking a lot of breaks here because as you guys saw, this is a spa. I want it to be relaxing. I want you to leave after today feeling very physically, but also emotionally and mentally and energetically relaxed. So you can actually go with your day and be in a different way because that has happened. So let's start with the body, like going within. And as you're closing your eyes, is noticing how your body is feeling. You can just scan your body, from head to toe and just noticing whatever it is. Maybe you had a very busy day and everything is kind of jumping around in your system. Maybe you are very relaxed and you're just coming here to get a little bit more of that. Maybe you're just in the middle, just feeling your body. How does your body actually feel at this moment? And just letting everything go. If it comes to mind, just try not to attach to it, but just letting it come to you and passing by. And then connecting your feet with the ground and pressing them a little bit stronger so you can actually feel the energy of the earth underneath you. And feeling that energy coming up also through your legs and through your body, up through your spine. Noticing any places or tension, and you can do any movement that you need, any stretch, or just simply send your next inhale into those areas where you're feeling a little bit more tense and sending the message to relax, to dissolve. And then as you continue to do that, I want you to think about connecting with your body. And we're going to think about a particular area, which is going to be your abdominal muscles. And the idea is to think about and connect directly with them without even any movement, right? We're very used to doing exercise to engage the muscles and to actually feel the muscles working and strengthening. And that's wonderful. And just asking at the moment how much connection can you find between your brain and your abs? your abdominal muscles? Can you feel them engaged? Can you tighten them up just by thinking about them? And if that doesn't come natural, maybe what you want to do is just rock your body, your tailbone a little bit on the chair back and forth. So you are tilting and tucking just gently and slowly. And that way, see if you can bring that connection to be a little bit more noticeable. It's like a rocking movement of your pelvic floor as you are engaging and relaxing the abs and extending your spine. Good. And can that help you to connect a little more with your muscles? Just notice. Now breathing into that area, one more inhale, just sending the oxygen down there, down to your abdominal muscles as you continue to breathe and feeling that area with your own energy as you are going and connecting. Just for a few more seconds. Good, and then just relaxing, and you can open your eyes. And if you'd like to share or type on the chat, what was your experience? Were you able to connect with your abs, with the muscles that we were sending the message? Were you able to have that brain, mind, body experience of connection? Was it hard? Any other feedback, any other comments, any other experiences that you had? Also, you can share. Was able to connect. That's great, Pam. Very good. Great. And how was the experience of connection? Did it feel solid? And sometimes we do have connection with some parts of our body, and then some others are a little bit more difficult to connect. And it's not the same for everybody, right? Good. Anybody has any other comment of their experience? So what I want to share with you guys today also is that, let me read this last message. I woke up with neck pain today. I was able to ease some tension. Will have done better if I had more time, Ronami. Okay, yeah, well, we're going to be doing a few more things. So I think you will continue to relax and that area that feels a little tense. But I just wanted to start with a brief body exercise because, again, to me is the first secret to be in this best shape, which means to actually feel that freedom in our body, that lightness in our body that we were talking about, right? That we can actually feel comfortable regardless of what we're doing or where we are, or somebody else expressing myself unapologetically. I actually love that way to describe it. So thank you for sharing that. So what I haven't shared yet, as I was saying, is that when I started doing this method of training, what I experienced, apart from losing fat, gaining muscle, the low back pain that I had experienced since childhood from having scoliosis, it actually disappeared. It was pretty amazing that after just a few workouts, that pain went away. So for some of you that have chronic pain, and especially in low back areas, shoulders, neck as well, those are places of tension, as well as hips and knees. If that's something that you are experiencing, strength training is a really good way to relieve that, because the connection with the body is a lot harder when we actually have pain, right? It doesn't really allow us for that because the body is giving you other signals as opposed to having a healthy connection, right? We can have this unhealthy connection of feeling that our body is not in a good place, and that doesn't help with what we are looking here, which is clearing those areas that have that pain. Sometimes the pain can be emotional, and many times, and there are books that talk about this, like one of my favorites is called The Body Keeps the Score, that talks about the body stores trauma, and as we store that trauma, we store it in pain and in physical pain, right? So sometimes we have to go a little bit deeper into the emotional than just the physical trauma. Sometimes it's the energetic that also can linger for a little longer. So in regards to the physical body, we can have that connection with our bodies. We can do the things that actually help us to be healthy, as exercise, as healthy, nutritious food. And that is the body secret that I keep talking about in regards to really having that freedom in your body and in your whole being that we are talking today. And as I was saying, experiencing today also, as you guys just experienced with that little practice. So as I was telling you before, when I started to do these exercises, I really felt like all the strength that I was gaining, it was waking up other superpowers within me. The more I was taking care of feeling healthy, of being strong, of eating well, I was being more inclined to do other things that were just outside of my physical body and health body. It's more about the mindset and other things that were coming up that were wanting to clear as my body was clearing itself. And I do remember starting to hear a little bit my brain chatter more clearly than I ever had. How about you guys? What is that relationship with your brain, with your mind? This is the second secret of the Freedom Circle today that we are together in this conversation, because the mind can play very fun games with us. And yes, we can be very healthy in our bodies, but if our mind is kind of running the show, then there's a piece of us that is going to be leading in a different direction than perhaps what we want to do, right? And I'm not saying that the mind is bad. The logical mind is wonderful. It's when we allow for the thoughts that are telling us that we are not good enough, or that we are not safe enough, or that we are not smart enough, or that we cannot do things that we want to do, and allow for that piece of ourselves to again lead us, is when we can actually do many other things. But that part is always going to be jeopardizing our progress. So this is something that I did realize a few years ago that was happening, and of course it's a constant work and conversation with yourself of where you are with it. And I'll tell you a little story because it was very interesting. I was telling you that I moved to New York City in my early 20s, and that's where I learned this method of training. And after living in the city for about 15 years, and I loved it, I decided that I needed to go somewhere where there was more nature. I was missing that part of actually, I believe, spirituality and connection with my own joy and my own pleasure and my own freedom, which nature brings. And I moved outside of New York in the Hamptons area, which is very countryside, right? That's where all the farmers are, and close to the beach. And I remember at that time, like I said, being a little bit more on my feminine side as well. Some of you ladies might resonate with this, that sometimes we are coming more from our masculine side of work or doing things, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was just that in the New York City, the lifestyle was very different. So I was very pushed to do things in a certain way, to be able to run my business. I own a personal training studio there. And I was thinking more from that place of like pushing and going and making things happen, right? In a very masculine way, which again, those are lovely attributes, but sometimes when they are too much and you are not allowing for a little bit more of flow, of ease, and I don't care if you're a male or a female, it's just about combining those two energies that I think makes us be our strongest, best self. So when I moved to the country, all these feminine sides starting to open up. And I started to realize that I needed to do a little bit more of hobbies and entertaining things for my soul. And I love dancing. I've danced since I was a little girl, and I love moving and expressing myself through movement. So there was an ad that I saw on this newspaper, and it was for a theatrical company, a women theatrical company called the Neo-Political Cowgirls. And they were looking for somebody else to perform with them. And I wanted to dance, and I have no professional dance or theater training, actually, but I have the passion for it. So I auditioned for this group, and they actually approved me to be part of their group, as well as performing as the lead of one of the theatrical shows for 2 years in the Hamptons where I was living at the time. And then we brought that show to New York. So the reason why I'm telling you this story is because if I would have believed my mind, right, that was telling me I'm not good enough to do this. Who are you with no training to actually be auditioning for this? I mean, could have really listened to that. I didn't. I said, okay, I'm gonna try this because I really want it in my heart and soul. And guess what happened? Be careful what you wish for, because it might actually become a reality. So this is the secret number 2, which it is the mind secret, as I was saying. And how about you, right? What is your relationship with your mind? Do you usually believe everything that it tells you? Or sometimes do you try to challenge it and do something different than what it's telling you to go to? So that's something you can put in the chat if you want to share. But I also want to do a practice with that now. This is going to be your second stop, or what we call it, reset, right? And let's see about connecting our mind with our heart, and or rather our heart to our mind, which this is the process of really creating cohesiveness in your body when you are having an emotional reaction towards something, and you want to look at it and see if something else comes up when you look at it from a different perspective that is not just your mind, but is by connecting with your heart. So if you guys are game for this, and Brenda, I see you, everybody else is off camera. I would love to see your faces if I could. You want to show, but I understand if you can. If you're driving, definitely don't do it. So what we are going to do first, and maybe just take a moment to gather pen and paper if you don't have it with you. And what you're going to write, you're going to take a few minutes now, in a second, to write down something that is been kind of annoying lately, that has been giving you a trigger, or that it's been creating an emotion in your body that is not comfortable, that you're not comfortable with. And it doesn't have to be necessarily bad or good. It's just an emotion that you are not comfortable with it. I don't believe in emotions as being bad or good, but sometimes they just don't sit as right. And why is that? It's a good approach to look into it and see what else is there that perhaps we are not seeing that could help us be more comfortable with that discomfort, which I think is the goal in essence. So if you have pen and paper, start writing down everything that has been coming to your mind about this situation. And it's probably not positive, and that's okay. I want you to just write down everything that you've been thinking. So I'm kind of trying to think about an example of my own, so you guys can be yeah. So I was traveling last week, as I was saying, to New York, and it's always the red eye. And then I was working on a retreat over the weekend, which was amazing, out in the Hamptons, actually, a weekend retreat at this beautiful house overlooking at the bay. And even though the experience was beautiful, I was feeling a little bit tired from it because we didn't get a lot of sleep. The retreat went long hours at night and started early in the morning. And it was, I came back and I was just really tired. And that's something that I've been kind of struggling with, right? Trying to get more time to rest and sleep. And this is what I do, right? So I need to find that time to actually be able to teach what I preach, and make sure that I follow my own medicine to actually be at my best self, so I can experience that joy and health and wellness that I want to spread in the world. And that's something that has been in my mind lately of, okay, well, maybe next time you can do this or the other, just kind of different ways. So I'll give you a couple of minutes. I'm going to stop talking now and just give you a couple of minutes for you to write down what has been in your mind lately that has been uncomfortable, that your mind has been saying over and over. So it's just a thought, repetitive thought, and sometimes different thoughts around the same subject that you've been telling yourself. It can be a day, it can be a week, it can be a month. I won't make it very difficult. Something that, and the reason why is because if you don't have a lot of practice doing this, maybe something very difficult would require more time. Just allow for your body also to give you the wisdom of what is coming through your mind as well, right? Those thoughts. So feel into your body what else is there, and that is feeling uncomfortable. So write down if any part of your body also is experiencing discomfort and you feel is associated with what you're sensing, with what you're talking about. Welcome back, Pam. We lost you for a minute.
Yeah, I'm back.
Good. So we have another few seconds here. We're gonna go for 2 minutes. And as you're finishing to write all those thoughts and emotions and feelings, how about coming up with what is the essence of what you are just experiencing? And with that, I mean the essence of everything that you just brought about. With a couple of words, with one word, can you describe what that is creating in your body? What is the main sort of theme for you around this subject? And when you're done, you can just relax back and let me know that that's the case. So we can actually now do a little practice to maybe just change a little bit. Would anybody like to share what has come up? And you don't have to if it's too personal. And but it's all about creating a nice sacred space here, right? That everybody feels okay to share. Just like I share with you guys that I might be a little tired, but you know. I'm doing a spa here for me too, so I can relax. So taking a leap of faith, I like that. And that means, what does that mean exactly, Beverly? Taking a leap of faith, that's what you're feeling, that you're taking a leap of moving to another country. Oh, I see. That's what you've been, yeah, so there's a lot, right? That's bringing up a lot for you. What is it bringing up? Is it some anxiety? Right, perfect. So that's a perfect example. Fear, okay, good. Finances, absolutely. Yeah, what country are you going to? Security, all that. I've done that. Okay, got it. Yeah, I moved from Spain to the States and then from New York to San Diego, so I can understand how moving can be. And whatever it is for each of you, right? Those emotions happen when we are doing different changes in life or, sometimes triggers that experiences that we have. So let's go back to closing your eyes if you feel comfortable again doing that. And we're gonna see what is in our heart wisdom that might serve you for this issue, for this struggle, for this pain, that you have. So what I want you to do first is just keeping your feet on the ground like you have and trying to come back to just relaxing and connecting with your body like we did before. So it helps sometimes to just breathe in through your nose, exhale through your mouth, relaxing your sit bones on the chair, just kind of letting your body melting down, it's melting down. Just taking another deep inhale and just let the exhale maybe make a noise if that feels good as you are exhaling, just letting everything go. Continue to connect deeply with your body. And then I'd like you to move one hand to your heart if that feels good. And you can just simply think about sending the energy to that area and opening up your heart. So even without any movement in your body, can you feel your chest space opening wider, your shoulders opening back? And I want you to think about getting to your heart, not just from the front, as we typically think about it, but from the back of your body. So can you get inside your heart from the back of your body? When we are on our back, we are actually more in a receptive mode, in a receptive space. We're usually in the front, listening, talking, seeing. When we relax back, we're actually able to receive more, even some things that are very unexpected. So as you continue to relax back into your heart, I want you to ask your heart, what wisdom does it have for this particular issue that we were just thinking about, that we were just writing about, that you were just sharing about? And just wait for an answer. What wisdom does your heart have about this situation, about this issue? And if you receive anything, go ahead and write it down. How did that feel in your body? Did that relax you? Did that make you feel more calm as you were connecting with your heart? What message did you receive? And if you want to share and compare, what was the essence of the first? And now look at the message that you received from your heart, and what is the essence of your heart wisdom? And then you can look at both and see if that shift in any way. No attachment there, but typically we do find something very different from our heart than from our mind. Welcome, Griselle. We're doing the second of our practices today. This is the mind practice, although it also includes the heart, doesn't it? So if anybody would like to share, you can put it on the chat. You can just speak if you like. When I do things, you have to wait. Yeah, sometimes we have to wait for a couple of days. Absolutely. And my brain logic keeps interacting. Yeah, that happens as well. This is why this is all like practice, you know. My background as personal trainer serves me very well as a health coach and healer, because I do believe that those are muscles that we have to exercise, right? Just like we do biceps to exercise the muscles and any other exercise for your body. Sometimes these practices don't happen or click right away, but we need to do them a few times in order to get that connection. So totally valid. And the more you do it, the better it gets, and the more that you can connect with that space. Obviously, today is just a little sample and a little taste of it, and hopefully help you to at least assess a little more, right, where you are in the spectrum. So that's great. So I know what my heart wants. That's good. And what is that? Yeah, so that's an interesting answer. And it came just to me. Okay, but that's great. Okay, so yeah, so how can we connect deeply with our hearts, right? Maybe that would be the answer. I mean, the question. And because the reason why I do this practice, and I'm going to show you at the end, if you like these two books that I'm sharing with you, I think would be interesting if any of this is resonating. The Body Keeps the Score is about how we store trauma in our bodies, how to release it. We do it through movement. We do it through practices like this one, somatic experiences, which I'm a huge believer on the healing power of all of them. And there is also a book that is called The Heart Math. And this is research on how when we are operating from our heart, it sends a wave to the rest of the organs of our body. When we have more heart coherence, it actually makes us connect with the other organs like the brain, like the stomach, and actually makes them feel that coherence, and it makes them lower the stress. It makes them lower the, in the case of the mind chatter, as some of you had expressed, right? That the brain keeps interacting. The more we connect with our heart, the more we actually relax the systems that are always on autopilot and running very fast. And this book actually talks about that. There's also an app for anybody that is interested that you can actually measure your heart coherence and actually see how coherent is your heart, and where again are you making decisions from fear or anxiety, or you're actually making them from joy and excitement. And it makes a big difference, right, in how we feel sometimes and how we express and go through these kind of issues. The name of the book is The Heart Math, Brenda, and I can show you both of the books. Like I said, to at the end, just remind me and I'll give you a quick, or I can email them. Actually, that might be better to just have an email with a link or where you can get them as well with a follow-up. So those are two of my favorite books in regards to, as we are talking body and heart connection now. So practice, right, makes perfect, as they say. So that was what I call the mind secret. There's other practices for sure that we could do. And in essence, it's all about mastering your mind. It's about, allowing for the thoughts to come in. And there are so many thoughts, right? I don't know the exact number, but we know that is something that more than we can handle. And we can choose and pick which ones we engage with. And we can also let go of the ones that don't serve us without pushing them away, without actually not making them be important, because they are giving us some information. But we can choose and we can master that. And we can decide if we are just going to engage through our mind, or we are going to get our heart and the rest of our body involved in that dynamic of the thought. So any questions on there, or anybody would like to share anything else that they have experienced so far? I want to continue a little bit with my story, as I was telling you guys before, but I want to just let a minute here for any questions apart from the name of the book. And I'm actually going to put it on the chat too, if you wanted to get it sometimes faster. So the body keeps the score and the heart math. That was easier. I should have thought about that before, probably. Here. Good. So talking about freedom before, right? When I asked you that question of what is freedom for you? I think a spiritual freedom is a mind freedom, mindset freedom, and body freedom. And now we're going to go into the spirit freedom, because I believe that's the third secret of really being in the best shape of your life, so you can experience that freedom that we're looking for here, joy and super wealth and super health. And wealth is also inside of us, and that's what we are kind of tapping into when we are doing all these practices for our body, all these practices for our mind and for our spirit, that is going to make us feel stronger, more relaxed, more peaceful. So I was telling you, when I moved outside of New York, I was performing. One of the things I realized about performing is about the healing power that it has. And the reason why I'm talking about this is because, coming back to the book, The Body Keeps the Score, it talks about how when we are in front of a group and we are being witnessed, our healing process changes. It's more vulnerable. It's also more connected with what the other human experiences are having at the same time. And it's not that I'm saying that when we are sharing in a group like this, when we are performing, but it's kind of a similar way. We're being seen, right? Just like the performer is being seen on a stage. And for me, performances that have a very strong message, you can actually leave change after that, right? We watch a movie sometimes that is quite amazing and incredible, or you go to the dance or the theater and you see something that really touches you. And it makes the audience, it makes you change as well, right? Just by seeing it. And when we are experiencing people in a way that is vulnerable, that you are actually feeling them and they are feeling you, and what we all have as a human experience is something very empowering, very powerful. And it's a little bit of what we are doing here today. I want to read a quote here from Einstein, because I think it's very interesting what he said. He said that the most effective people connect first with their soul. And this is what we are doing here today. It's connecting with our soul. It's connecting with the parts of ourselves that is more or less of the mind chatter. It's more or less of not having the body connection and being outside of ourselves, but really connecting deep with ourselves, with our soul, with what the messages are here for us. And that was what this practice with the heart connection wanted to bring about, right? What is there for you that is different than just what your mind is saying? So I want to continue a little bit with my story of, as I'm talking about the spirit secret, I said at the beginning that I live in San Diego, and that's where I moved after living in New York for a little while. And, when people ask me why did I move to San Diego, I always say that because of the weather, because I was really tired of the weather in New York and I wanted to find a better place to live. And also because I moved here when the first time that I visited, it reminded me of Spain. It was beautiful. It's a very similar beach area. It's a very similar trees. We have palm trees and pine trees, and it's just I felt like it was like in Spain, but in a very big way. So that was one of the reasons why I moved here, and I love that. And I started to realize when I was here how much nothing wrong with the East Coast and New York, but that I was a little disconnected with my spiritual life, that I always was more connected, I think, when I was younger before I moved to New York. And then kind of the Big Apple and the fast speed of the city had made me lose that. I gained it a little bit when I moved into the countryside, but for some of you that have been in California or have visited, you know how slow things are here, right? And there's a huge spiritual community as well. People are very interested in deep practices. And I started to experience them. I started to do different things that really helped me connect. One particular one that I teach now actually is what is called the art of presence, which are spiritual practices and energetic practices that help you stay more connected within yourself. And again, in essence, what I feel that does is it makes us more connected with others, makes us more magnetic. It increases your radiance, your light, and it also gives you clarity about what is it that you are here to do, if that's something that you are asking for. And it gives you clarity of what are the things that are important every step of the way. And without pushing, remember I was telling you before about my masculine side pushing, doing, and trying to make things happen, the hard way. This is more about receiving. This is more about being in flow. This is more about really just doing things that are easier. And everything becomes very magical when that happens. And I want to tell you also that what I experienced was one of my biggest breakthroughs, and it was actually at a retreat. And we are in a very little virtual retreat here today together, or spa, as I like to call it. And sometimes this type of experience, because we are with a group of people that are looking for similar things, becomes very powerful. So I was at a retreat in Hawaii, actually, and it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And you might be thinking, well, that was probably the most amazing experience because of the location, right? But no, I mean, even though I love Hawaii and it's beautiful, it was because I had one of the biggest breakthroughs of my life in regards to my value. And it's interesting that I'm connecting value with the spiritual secret. And it's because I believe what I told you before is that wealth is within us. It's not something that is from the outside. It's not something that we just gain, that we think that wealth is how much money we have or how many things we have. And we measure our value with that. But it is an internal job. It is something that either is there, and you value yourself and you feel confident in what you offer or not. And sometimes it's in between. Sometimes you have the doubts, and sometimes you have the strength and empowerment. And sometimes we are more powerful about it, and sometimes we are less. But it's finding that place where you can offer the value into the wall, knowing that that's your wealth. Doesn't need to be from the outside, it's inside of you. So coming back to my story at the retreat, I was at the retreat in Hawaii with 33 Japanese women and 4 Westerners. And on the first day of the retreat, on the first session, I started opening my mouth, and we have a microphone. So I remember grabbing the microphone and I started opening my mouth, and words starting to come out. And it was not me really saying those words. Now I know that it was a spirit talking through me. Have you guys have any experience like that where you're starting to talk, but it's not really you, it's something higher than yourself? Have you ever experienced that? I would love to know. Probably you have, right? And what I started saying is that even though people that I work with were telling me how much I've helped them to feel the strongest they can believe in their body, and I believe that the stronger we are in our body, the stronger we connect with our spirit, I could not see that by myself. I didn't see that I was offering this value. I didn't see that I had that value. So the teacher at the retreat, the facilitator, and a very good friend of mine that was also my client were attending the retreat, and they both started saying how much I've helped them to get the strongest, and the most confident and even the sexier in their lives by our work together. And at that time, I was working mostly as a personal trainer, and I still couldn't see it by myself. So I started punching the floor. I started crying. I started, making noises. And I don't know if you know how Japanese women help other women through these processes, but the room got very loud. Every single woman in the room started joining me on this feast of expression where I was really cleansing emotionally, energetically, even mentally, I believe, my lack of value for myself, my lack of internal wealth and respect for the work that I was doing. And it was a big breakthrough. So I'm not saying that you're going to scream or punch or do anything like this here, or even if you come at some point to one of my retreats, because we do a lot of that deep work. But sometimes the breakthroughs are necessary, and those letting go of the anger, letting go of the frustration, right? It needs to be expressed, because if we don't feel the feelings, we cannot move through them, and we cannot allow for other things to happen in our life. We create that trauma, we create that stagnation in our body that doesn't let us flow, that doesn't let us open up for what the things that are really there for us. So after this retreat and years of actually going deep within, I was saying, again, it's a muscle. You need to build it over time. It doesn't happen in one retreat, but you can start at least with the initiation of what is there for you. And that's what happened to me. It was that aperture, that door to this freedom, this kind of lightness, this beauty to sensing life in a different way. And trust me, going through the struggles, we all do. But how can we be in a place of joy and love and peace at the same time that we experience the anxiety, the anger, and all those emotions that usually we resist? It's kind of my work of helping you and helping people. How can we be in both and not be uncomfortable in that place of emotional states where we are always trying to run away from? Because they are a feedback mechanism to actually help you be more of yourself and be more of the growth and the person that you really are. So that's my belief, and I'm gonna share with you now a practice that I think will help you be more connected also spiritually with yourself. And this will be the third one that we'll be doing a close eye experience. So just going deep within again, and we've been relaxing the body, we've been relaxing the mind. We're going to go into our spirits now, because we are humans, very interesting beings. And I believe that when those three pieces, the body, the mind, and the spirit, are in best harmony, and I don't believe in balance, I don't think balance exists. We're always sacrificing something a little bit for the other, and that's okay. But harmony, when we can actually live in harmony, we are actually our best selves. I actually love, and I'm a accredited shamanic practitioner, and indigenous tribes always talked about the medicine wheel. The medicine wheel is a circle, and it's always represented with different ways. It can be with stones, with crystals, with really just anything that can create this circle that aligns your body in nature. And with that, I mean that it has all the different poles, the north, the south, the west. Each pole represents an element, and it also represents your body, your heart, your mind, or your spirit. And when they are all in harmony, the center of the wheel is consciousness. And that's when we are our best self. So what we do with practice is actually realign ourselves with all our different parts, but also with the elements. So we can actually be the healthiest, the more conscious, the more aware, the more pain-free, the more in peace that we can achieve by finding those places that are not harmonious at the moment. So let's look into that for a minute. So let's come in, as I was saying, let's come in inside, closing your eyes, finding a place with your body where you can be relaxed in your body, but with energy in it as well. So you are attentive, but relaxed. Ideally, you want to be pressing your feet on the ground and relaxing your legs. And then placing your palms of your hands either facing down or up on your lap, allowing for a little space between your shoulder blades and your elbows, just letting the upper part of your body relax and open up. Relaxing also the space between your eyes. Any movement, any stretch that feels good for you to do right now, you can. The goal is to just come back to pure, simple relaxation of your body, sending oxygen to the areas that feel a little more intense. And then allowing the mind again to just let the thoughts pass by as you stretch, as you move, if that's what you're doing. Taking another deep inhale and allow for the body again to relax, relieve as you exhale. And now bringing your hand to your lower abdomen, and you can put it there if you like. You can put your energy there if you like. You can keep your hand, or you can just simply send your energy into your lower abdomen, your pelvic floor area. This is a center of power. In some traditions, it's called the Hara Dantien. I like to call it home, a place where we go to rest, but where we also store our energy. And just let your body just simply bring all your awareness, all your energy down to that area. Connecting deep within. And now bringing your attention to your heart center as we did before. Noticing how your heart feels. Can you open your heart even more? Come back to feeling the heart from the back of your body. As you breathe into it, allow for your chest to expand, for your heart to get larger and larger, that big, beautiful heart. Allow it to glow, to expand, to grow, to feel. And then go up to your head, but especially the back of your head. The back of our bodies is where we are more in that receptive space. So connecting with the back of our head is allowing us to be more receptive, to relax more the responsive, the reactive part of our being. And then imagine a vertical core. It's a ray of light that goes from your lower abdomen, through your heart, through the back of your head. And it's just an imaginary vertical core of any color that you would like to be. That vertical core, that ray of light, is creating an alignment between the earth underneath you all the way up to the sky, grounding you and also opening you up to spirit, the God of your understanding, your higher power, however you'd like to feel into that more ethereal part of yourself, more magical, more energetic part of yourself. And then imagining a light globe around you. It's about an arm's length. And this is the space where your energy lives, where your energetic body lives. And as your vertical core becomes stronger and brighter, it's like the inside of a light bulb. your light around you becomes stronger and brighter. Seeing that light become stronger as you continue to feel that vertical core up and down your system. And just know that that light globe sometimes has some gray, dark spots, places that need a little bit of cleaning because you've been fearful, anxious, tired, upset, frustrated. And the more that you clear those spots, the brighter that that light is. That light is also a protection. That globe is also a protection that you allow anything that you want to come in or not into your field. Serve to you as a shield. Just relaxing a little bit deeper into that light globe around you, into that energy field around you. And as you're noticing that, notice the ends, the boundaries, the edges of your light globe, and feeling that edge connecting with everybody here in our circle today, even virtually. We can be very aware of the energy around us if we really consciously approach it. Taking just another couple of seconds here to rest in the peace of your own self. Just letting the body do its thing, whatever feels around your body. Let it marinate, let it fluidly move. Let your mind tell you whatever story it tells you. And yet, energetically, you can be here surrounded by your own energy, your own beautiful energetic field of energy around you. Even when it feels not so comfortable, can you stay in the peace? Can you find the peaceful place inside of you? Feeling back into your body, feeling back into your essence, and just slowly breathing freely, coming back to the room when you're ready, opening your eyes, taking your time. If you're comfortable where you are. Mm. And if anybody would like to share anything that they experience here, put it in the chat, or you can also speak. Gonna allow one more person to come in now. Lisa. What did you guys experience? Was that easy? Was it not so easy? And was the body talking? Was the mind talking? Anything that you would like to share? I'd love to hear. Mm. I like how you mentioned to look in the back of your heart. That made a big difference. Yeah, it did for me too the first time I did that. It was like, wow, I can go to my heart from my back. That feels very expansive. My body's way relaxed. Love it, Romani. That's great. Yeah, so simple, right? We just need to tap into our bodies and the wisdom is there. We don't have to go anywhere. Isn't that magical when we feel that way? Ready for a nap. Yeah, I love it. That's great. When I have a few more things that I want to share with you guys, but yeah, don't let me hold you if nap time has come for you. I'd love to have you finishing here, but hey, That's what we're here for. We take naps at spas too, and that's the idea, that you actually relax and reset today. That's the goal for our time together. So I'm glad that that is the benefit that you're experiencing at the moment. We live very busy lives, right? We don't spend enough time to self-care. And actually, there's something that I wanted to share with all of you as a one last thought, and share of a little bit of my story, and why I do what I do. When I was a little girl, I grew up with 3 brothers, and they were 6, 7, and 10 years older than me. And my mother actually put me in charge of them, right? What was she thinking at that age? That's like a no-no. So I learned to be a people pleaser since I was very young, and always giving, and not really taking care of myself. I learned that because I was ridiculized by my brothers, to the point where one day, well, this is one of the memories that I have, although my mother thinks it was different than what I recall. But I remember that I was very, very young, little munchkin, maybe 4 or 5, and she left me in charge of them because that's what she used to do. It's kind of weird when you think about it, and crazy, but and she had made lentil soup. Well, actually crazy, but in a way, you know, you've heard probably, right, how they say that we choose our family, our soul chooses the family that we come to actually become who we really need to be in this life, or grow in the way that's the Buddhist belief, right? And I think for me it was true. I chose the family because I needed to actually learn in self-care, and really putting my needs as well as the others, you know, in a way that is harmonious, as I was talking about before, as opposed to the more giving. So I was telling you that she had left lentil soup, and I was in charge of my brothers eating it. And my younger brother, Miguel, who was a troublemaker, and even to this day, he's a troublemaker, he said, I don't want to eat it. And I said, well, you have to, right? So he grabbed the soup and he poured it all over his body and his face. And, you know, that was a way to kind of ridiculize me. And I learned that if I wanted to gain, especially men approval, I needed to be nice. And I needed to be, again, a people pleaser, and always be not telling people what to do, or just being very sort of determined, right, about the things that I wanted and needed, but more about just letting people be and do whatever they wanted. And that's how I would gain their approval. So that's what I did for quite some time. When I attended this retreat that I was telling you in Hawaii, I was probably in my 6, 7 codependent relationship, you know, with a man that was definitely not treating me at my best. I was giving, and I was not receiving, and it was not his fault. It was just my way of being that it was attracting that, right? And in relationship as well. So that was a big teaching, and I will consider for you, right, when this is happening, are you a giver? I call myself a giver in recovery. I still work on that every day, of how much can I give myself? How is my glass? Is it full? And then I can give it to others, or do I need to replenish myself before I actually? And I knew that this webinar was actually going to relax me with you guys. And I mentioned before that I was tired, and I actually feel much better now that I've spent some time with you doing these practices, and seeing how you are all feeling, and wanting to take naps and relaxing, and feeling into your bodies in a different way, right? So this is also, it gives and comes back, right? When you're doing it in a way that is not just to give, for not actually taking care of your own self. So how are you feeling in that regard? Are you taking care of yourself, especially when you're anxious, when you're fearful, when you're angry, like when all those things are happening, right? Can you actually take the time and take the processes, and really tap into your body, tap into your energy field, tap into your mental blocks, and see what is there that needs to be let go, that needs to be clear on the light globe energetically, that needs to be perhaps address in a different way in the mind, as we did with the heart experience. Can you be more cohesive in your heart to send the brain the message to give you other thoughts or of ideas on how to go in a particular situation? And putting all that together is what it can really get you to take to those steps that are going to make your life with more ease, with more flow, with more freedom, which is what we were starting to talk about at the beginning. And this is why this is the freedom circle, because all these things will eventually lead to that, to have a more free life, as opposed to, I think, when we are more into the addiction of the mind and the thoughts that are actually not making us feel free, but are making us feel attached to a life that we don't desire. Quick question: do we feel more relaxed taking energy or letting go from the inside? Great question. I think we could do both, actually. So it depends of what needs to let go and it needs to come in, actually. It's a very interesting question, because when I facilitate work with clients and also on retreat work, there's always a curve of what that needs to let go and what that needs to bring in. So what are the things that we need to let go in life in order to let in the things that are waiting for us there and that we truly desire? So I think it's both. You cannot separate to open up a space and to bring in, and assessing what are the themes that we want to let go. There's another great book, actually, guys, if you want to make a note of that. It's called Letting Go. And that's one of my favorite books, is up there. And this one talks about, and it's a very funny one, actually, because the author on the first page started telling us about all the things that we do to let go. We do, coaching, we do Reiki, we do massage, we do constellation family exercises, we do lots of somatic work, we do plant medicine. He was going on and on with all these different practices that we do in order to let go. And then he said, but really, we just need to let go. I know it's kind of like a joke, right? When it's made that simple, but it was like a whole full page of practices that we do. And in essence, it's just ourselves, making the decision that that's what we are doing. Not that those practices are not going to help us get there. Not that we don't need help from outside experts. I mean, I go to them myself all the time when I'm in need. And yet it's just making the decision, being sure that this is something that you are ready to let go of, and then just do it. So I hope that answers your question, Romani. I think it is definitely a combination. And your question was specifically about feeling more relaxed. I think relaxation and fluidity and joy and lightness comes from, the constant process of doing that, of allowing for the energy that it fits us to come in, and allowing for the energy that does not serve us anymore to let go of our field. So one last thing that I want to share with you guys is about what I've come to the realization of in my work, that love is a very important part of it. And I know that love is, this big concept, but I'm all about love, joy, and connection. And simply, one of the things that I've heard recently, which is very interesting, in an interview with Father Gregory Boyle, if you guys are familiar with him, and Tara Bach. And I'm going to read it because it was actually very interesting what they said. I thought, when you are loved, you are untouchable, and that is timeless, and it goes beyond death. It is an invisible shield, just like the light globe shield that we created before. And it's very connected, actually, because when that light globe that we created energetically before for each of us is the clearest from the energies that we were talking about, that we wanted to let go, and is filled with the ones that we want to bring in, then you become more loving of yourself, which is going to make you more loving of others. And I believe, again, it's an inner job. It starts with you first, right? You cannot expect for others to love you or to be very loving when we don't love ourselves. So let's start first there. So they said it's an invisible shield. And something that the Dalai Lama says, love equals joy and fearlessness. And that's something also to think about when we are feeling the fear and we are feeling the lower emotions. Again, nothing wrong with them. And yet, how can we be in those emotions, but still keep that joy, still keep that love flowing within ourselves, and have those experiences, but tapping into the source of that power that we have to stay with the freedom, to stay with the lightness. So I'm very passionate these days about talking about these subjects of abundance, joy, because this is what I have experienced. And I believe that when you connect deeply with your body and you're able to master the small mind, as we were talking about before, and connect also stronger with your spirit, is when you can create and experience everything that you desire, including, after all this work, a conscious partner, from being in very codependent relationships. I can say now that I'm in a partnership that feels very fulfilling and very mature. I'm surprising myself using the word mature, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you are actually creating, those layers of energy that actually fill you, and you are not operating from your trauma. The relationships that you create, not just with your intimate partners, but with your friendships, with your business colleagues, I think the quality of them also change. And that's been my experience as well. So I'd love to know if you guys have any thoughts or comments, anything that you would like to share. We have a few more minutes, and I want to also share one more thing that is important before we go. But anybody, any thoughts, anything that needs to be expressed or shared? Good. I'm glad that you like my response, and hope that was helpful. Wonderful. Great. So I want to share with you guys right here. Let me go through. I'm going to share my screen for a minute with all of you, and something. Can minimize. Okay, I get it. And technology is wonderful. I'm sure I can make this happen. It's just gonna take a second, but it's kind of funny to find the screen here. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let me know if you can see my screen, the global freedom circle. Can you guys all see that when I'm sharing? Okay, great. So this is us right there. I mean, well, we're not in person and didn't have a drink, but maybe next time we can do that. I'm glad that everybody was relaxed and content. So that's wonderful. And this is a picture from one of our retreats. And obviously, I think we were in Mexico, so some of us might be drinking a little bit of wine, but that's okay. It's part of life, right? So So thank you for being with me today. I didn't want to use my PowerPoint. I typically use it at the beginning, but I felt today that I just wanted to just talk to you guys. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I just want to tell you that I work with clients in body, mind, and spiritual practices. Apart from my nursing background that I spoke about before, I'm a fitness trainer, and I also am a shamanic practitioner and a teacher of art of presence, as well as a health coach. So on my work with clients, I typically help with whatever is needed at the moment, that is body, mind, and spiritual. I also own an online gym. So if you're looking for exercise classes to help with your body shape and tone, and you're looking to lose weight or anything that is body physically related, I have trainers that have classes every day, and would love to invite you to a class if that's something that you would like to experience with us. I always knew I wanted to help people. I told you about that before. I didn't know it was going to take me where it's taken me, but I'm very blessed of the path of expertise. I was telling you about my Wonder Woman story, about really getting connected with my body, and that gave me that sense of wholeness and power. And that was the first secret, the body secret. The second was the mind secret. We were talking about how to let the thoughts be a little bit more calm, so we can really connect with that back body, with that part of ourselves that is really giving us those messages that we are expecting for. And then the spiritual piece that we were connecting with, spirit, energy, you can call it, and you can have different beliefs. And it doesn't matter what your religious belief is. This is actually just talking about energy and that part of ourselves that is intangible, that we cannot really see, but that we know it exists, right? So I want to invite you to a discovery session. If there's something here that you feel is worth for you to explore with me further in a conversation, I want to invite you to a discovery session. I call it the Freedom Breakthrough Session, which is opening the door to lightness, beauty, and higher love, which we've been talking about all that today. That's what freedom means to me. It's just really being in any space, comfortable with it, being in the present moment. In this time together, I'm gonna show you how to start taking the steps to take to recalibrate, restart, re-energize, and ignite your passion, your natural beauty and capacity for love. And it might be surprisingly easy to do, but sometimes we get blocked, right? That doesn't happen. This is by cleaning that light globe. This is by doing the practices that can be necessary for you at the moment to build that muscle to actually get to the place that you want to be with your life. From this session together, you're going to gain a breakthrough and a relief plan. You experience some little relief today, right? Of feeling more relaxed, feeling less anxious, wanting to take a nap. The body's really getting into that space of more connection. And that's what we want. This is a session that will be privately with me and you individually to your goals, to your needs, to what is necessary for you at the moment. And you're going to live with a little plan that you can put in practice right away. And will resolve the main struggle that you and I will figure out at that moment you are dealing with, so that you can start having that breakthrough and start resolving that challenge. And then at that moment, I'm also going to give you a quick tip to create momentum in your life, to work, career, whatever it is that you're looking for, well-being, or even your relationship. And if we are fit and you so desire, I'm going to share how we can work together moving forward after this session. This is complimentary for you to have that time. So if this is something that calls you, that you feel is you're ready for, I would love to meet you privately. It is for you if you are definitely ready to do some of the work that I mentioned to start building up that muscle. And also if you're willing to meet me halfway there, right? So there's this commitment of just really being readiness to say yes to what you want and why you're here. You know, if this is something that is calling you to have more freedom, to be more relaxed, it's not something that just happens at a time in a webinar when you are sharing with somebody like me and the group of people that we have here, but it's something that you can have in your life moment after moment after moment. It's an experience that can become real constantly. And is that something that you're looking for, to have that freedom? We can start working together on creating that for you. I'm going to stop my share. I want to know if there's any questions. Where am I located? I am in San Diego. So I do see people in person. If you are nearby or if you want to travel here, I'm more than happy to see you. I organize circles and work in person every week. And I also do retreats. These are all around the world. I just finished one in Colorado. I also did one in the Hamptons in New York last weekend. And San Diego, there's one coming up at the end of this month. And also I'm going to Spain, my country of origin, in October. So there's a lot happening. If you want to meet in person and come to San Diego, that would be great to have you. Who said that? It was that pun. Okay, that's great. Great. So I'm going to put on the chat how you can schedule. Well, it was Grisel that asked me that. Grisel, are you interested in meeting in person? Is that what you're asking me? I'm going to put it here on the chart. I couldn't hear you because you're muted, but you can speak and put it on the chat. I just put on the chat my link to schedule this call. And if you'd like to do that, it'll be my pleasure to see you. As I said, this call is designed for you and to figure out what is the main struggle you're dealing with, how I can help you move forward with a solution for that. I think I have it estimated to 45 minutes, but you know, I don't usually have a meter here of time, but whatever is needed for you to get a good plan to go. And then we can decide, right, if we are a good fit to work together, as we said before. So any questions, any final thoughts? Is there something that you guys want to share? Yes, I will send that email via link and via email. I will do a follow-up email and I will send. Did everybody get the books, or you would like me to put the books on that email as well to have the list and the author? If you'd like to do that, and the link will be shared on an email as well. Absolutely. I am far in Sherman Oaks. Which part of Spain area? I'm from Madrid, but my retreat is going to be in Cadiz, in the south, where my family is from, actually, which is very dear to my heart. So I'm super excited that I'm going there to do a retreat. I did one in Malaga last year as well. I love that city, but this year is very special because it's in the country, in the part of the country where my family is from. And my dad passed 3 years ago. I actually haven't talked about my father a lot. I usually do. This is very dear to my heart that I'm doing work there in a place where where he was from, the town where he actually was born. So it's very cool. I was very divinely guided to land in that retreat center when I was there in Spain last time. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be very special. Your father's from Barcelona. That's so cool. That's great. Close to Madrid. Yay. So you know the country. That's great, Pam. I mean, Grisel. So, okay, so I'm going to make a note. I'm going to put here to send you the books and also the link via email. And know that I do these meetups. I start once a month. This is my second one, actually. But I am going to probably do them more frequently. And if you'd like to join on the next one, you'll receive my invitation. I would love to have you again. Next time, I actually want to ask you to bring some candles and make it a real spa all together. We can have our candle, we can have maybe our flowers, and I'm going to use some of my instruments. I do drum journeys, and I use as well as Tibetan bowls and some other healing instruments that I would like to bring. And it works very well on the internet as well. I've done it already in circles, not just in person. So I want to bring some of healing sound into the webinar as well. And that's what it's going to be probably next month of August, although I might just do it next week if I have the time. I look at my calendar and see what that feels like. Will you guys enjoy a once a week, once a month? How is your commitment in that regard? Exciting. Why exciting? Glad I'm glad you like it. I'm excited to do it myself. Once in 2 weeks, you know, that sounds pretty good. Once a week, once in 2 weeks. Okay. All right, perfect. So yeah, my goal was to go once a week. I just did every month for starting in July, but perhaps once a week feels more appropriate. So you can show up every 2 weeks, Ronami, but you're gonna miss some things. So I don't know about that. In any case, it was great to be with all of you today. And I'm glad that it worked to help you be a little bit more relaxed. Now remember, you can do this by yourself. It takes a moment to get inside your body. It takes a moment to breathe in your body. It takes a moment to connect with your heart. It takes a moment to connect with your energy field. There are some things that you can do by yourself and some other things we can't. So I encourage you to join a community of people to find the help that you need. If you are at the point in your life where you're sad, where you're feeling depressed, where you're feeling kind of disempowered, right? And that you cannot do it by yourself. I know I've been there. When I attended that retreat that I was telling you, I was there. I was sad, depressed. I was seeing life as a drag. I had trouble getting up in the morning to do my work. And again, it didn't happen overnight, but it was building that muscle of creating self-love, creating self-value, creating wealth within myself, creating joy within myself to be able to share it with others, that it actually helped me get out of that roller coaster of just doing without actually being conscious of your needs, and giving without actually doing the self-care that we actually need in order to be the healthiest that we can be. So if that's you, I'd love to help you. And I'm glad that this moment was beneficial. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again in my future webinars. And I will follow up with an email. Any feedback that happens during our time together, I think Beverly mentioned that sometimes you get the answer 2 days after. So if 2 days after you get an aha, just send me an email. Let me know. My pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate you. Good night, everyone. Thank you. I'm so glad you enjoyed. I'm looking forward to seeing you too, Lisa. Wonderful, ladies. See you next time. Stay tuned for my next one. I'll make it next week. Have a lovely night.